The other day I was coming out of Publix supermarket and I was in kind of a hurry, and there was a man there by the door who stood up when I went by and said, "Do you have any spare change?" He said, "I just recently came from Sudan and I've been in the hospital." He showed me his band and if you could spare anything. And I walked by a few paces and then I stopped my tracks. I remembered what the Torah says, Lo ta'ametz et levavcha. Don't close up and harden your heart. V'lo tikpos et yadcha me'achicha havyon. And don't close your hand to the needy. And so I reached in my pocket and all I had was this piece of plastic, which goes around very well nowadays. But in my other pocket, luckily I had one of these. And I was able to fulfill the mitzvah of opening the hand, as it says, Patoch tiftach et yadcha. Surely you shall open your hand, la'achicha la'anyecha, to the person who's needy in your land. Now, in the land of Israel, in biblical times, as the Torah states, there will always be needy. And it comes right in the context of describing how plentiful the crops will be and how well off people will be once they get in the land. However, the Torah goes on to say, Ki lo yechdal evyon mikerav haaretz. However, there are always going to be those who are needy in the land. Al kain, anochi mitzavcha lemor. So God says, I remind you that I command you this day, Patoch tiftach et yadcha. Surely you shall open your hand. When we were recently in Israel, it's such a thriving country and the economy is really expanding. They have such incredible high tech and so many new inventions. And there are a lot of very successful people there, but there are a lot of needy people too. So along with taking this piece of plastic along, which they even accept in the shuk now for buying vegetables, it's always good to have a few shekels in your hand as well. And just in case somebody is in need and asks for some help, you always are supposed to give them whatever you have in your hand. So I just have a few agarot, a half a shekel, and 100 shkalim. Wow. Oh, this is the old shekel from before they changed to the new shekel. Anyway, it's always good to have a little. And what our rabbis teach us is that charity is not something that you just give because you feel kind-hearted on that day. Rather, it's a mitzvah from the Torah. And so it's better to make it a regular thing. In our prayer services, we actually have a designated time during tefillah to give tzedakah. It comes in that one section of Psukei de Zimmer right before we get to Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. When we recall the short history of our people, that's when you give a little tzedakah into the pushka or into the basket that we have in our minyan, the minyan fund. So now that we started up our minyan in person again, we have our first contribution of $16 for the first minyan collection. And every little bit helps. Over time, we've been able to help with funerals or other people's electricity bills that have come to us. A lot of good tzedakah that we do because we collect in a regular way. We're wishing everybody to be able to one day be able to give as well, that someday you're in need and someday you're able to give. So wishing everybody now a Shabbat Shalom and prosperity to all in future time.